Cool. So basically, if you saw all those months ago, I showed you buying a endgame grinder, high-end grinder. Kind of the current process right now is you hopefully get a pre-order, and then later on you'll then just pay the full amount. So what happens in this example with Kafatek is I paid a pre-order at the beginning. You then get an email about what mods, what customizations you want. I specifically, in this MC4, got the titanium nitride burrs, the tin burrs. And then fast forward about 6 months, you'll get an email that says, hey, your monolith is ready, pay the rest of the money. And then you pay the rest of the money. You go to a special link that just brings you to the final amount. You then will pay it. So the total cost of all of this was $700 for the pre-order, $150 for the tin burrs, and then $14.50 for the final payment, and then plus shipping and tax, of course. So that was, that's a lot of money, and I hope it's worth it. I mean, I know it's worth it because I have used an MC4 a variety of times, and it's some good stuff. But yeah, this is kind of the process of buying. So you have to hopefully get on a pre-order list, get notified when a pre-order is occurring. Put your money down as soon as you can. Make sure you have like Google Pay or Apple Pay, anything instant. And then you wait a whopping 6 months, at least in the case of Kafatek. But with other companies now, if they do have stock, it'll take a few weeks. But in this case, it takes 6 months, 6 to 10 months, depending on what you do. Maybe it's because it's the supply chains and shipping delays and all that holiday season. But I got a variety of emails, at least with UPS, where they're like, hey, it's coming on Friday. It's Saturday right now. Then yesterday, it said it was going to come on Monday. And then when I just checked today, Saturday, it says it's going to come today. So I am literally waiting for the grinder, and we'll see if it shows up. And then if it does show up, I'll show you an unboxing. The Kafatek grinder unboxing experience is not super eventful, to be honest, but it's pretty fun to take a look at. For reference, my dad waited 10 months for his grinder. He was trying to order in December, had the item in his cart, and it went out of stock. He emailed Dennis, and then Dennis was able to get him on the next batch, but he paid all the way back in February, so he waited about 10 months, and then his Max, which is over there somewhere, showed up, and he's been really enjoying it. But yeah, I lucked out I got in with the correct 6-month time cycle. My dad had to wait an additional basically 4 to 5-ish months for his grinder. So I don't know if this is going to occur in the future, at least with the purchases from companies like Kafatek, but I just wanted to mention that. But anyway, now let's see if the grinder shows up, and if it does, we'll unbox it. I'll show you all of that. And I know some of you Kafatek owners or previous batch people care about this, so we'll see if we will get the new WDT. 4-prong, all made of metal, very nice. So this is my dad's WDT. A whopping $3,500 WDT. My WDT will only be a very lame $2,500, but we'll see if we get the new one with this batch. Here it is. Different box actually than the one that my dad got. So now we have the Monolith logo here. The one that my dad got had a single sticker. But yeah, here it is. Okay, so we're back. It's actually the next day. I ended up actually getting the grinder in, and I'll be unboxing it. But basically, with a company like Kafatek, you end up getting a test report that will tell you how your grinder performs. So here is mine. Of the other 3 MC4s I've gotten the highest extraction yield. So this is an amazing grinder, apparently. But basically some changes have been done with this specific monolith, and I'll be showing that to you, and that the box is a bit different. So as you can see here, this is a really big box, and I'm trying to fit this in video, but as you can see here, this is a bit different than what you may be used to when it comes to monolith grinders. This is fancy. We now have a monolith logo, or the Kafatek logo, on the box. You get your grinder in, you open it, and you get a whole set of instructions, and you should season things, do the whole setup process. But let me open this up and show you what's inside. Okay, here we go. I'm going to lay the grinder on its side and kind of shimmy it out. I think that's the strategy. So if you take a look here, there's this piece of foam, and there you go. And as you can see there, you get, this is really good, by the way. If you've never had this coffee, this is GMC by Cafe Luso. This is honestly one of the most forgiving espresso blends you can possibly get. So you get a bag of this. This is what Dennis tested this grinder with. So we have our high extraction from a roast like that. Power cable. Accessories. We're going to see if we get the expensive WDT, right? This was a $3,500 WDT. This is maybe this is only going to be a $2,500 WDT. But let's take a look at that. And okay, so this is much nicer in terms of packaging than the Max came in. There weren't any pieces of foam that were specifically fitted for the grinder like this. For reference, this is what the Max came in, or like this is what was shaped to hold the grinder in. Looks like we've gotten an upgrade where there's a specific piece of foam to actually hold the grinder in. So that's really cool. Anyway, this is really nice here. So the base of the MC4 is a bit different than the Flat Max, where the base is a lot thinner. Actual place where the base of the grinder fits into in the box with foam. So if you ever want to ship it back, or if you ever want to sell the grinder, if you ever want to like ship things off, you have all these nice fitted pieces of foam, which is really cool. Let me actually open this up and then we'll take a look at the accessories. It's got tape here, and then of course you have the blue tape to hold all the different metal pieces together. Okay. This is all stuck into the funnel chute part here. All right. Well, here we go. Here is the MC4, latest edition of the MC4. So one thing you do want to keep in mind with a company like Kafatek and some of these smaller boutique manufacturers, and some people might think this is a downside, but I think this is a complete benefit, is that you have to agree that, you know, maybe the grinder will get better. So like in the span of 6 months that you ordered the grinder, or maybe even 1 year, depending on what cycle you're in, you may end up just straight up getting a different version of the grinder. Well, I mean, it'll be the same, but some minor upgrades. So for example, some of the previous batches of MC4s had a different chute here. Take a look, we'll plug it in, we'll pull a shot or something, I don't know. Pretty straightforward stuff here. Case with Kafatek, the test report is done with a single group slayer, and with this coffee, with this grinder, the GMC blend, Dennis has used other coffees, but mainly from Cafe Luso. This one back here was what the Max was tested with, but we got the OG classic GMC blend for this. And I'm telling you, this is a legit great coffee. Would highly recommend it. It might be difficult to see, but the grinder has been used, of course. It's been tested, and that's what we like. But on the MC4, compared to things like the Flat and Flat Max, you have to season this a lot more. So the Flat Max, I think you only need to season 1 to 2 pounds. This thing, you gotta do the full seasoning. You gotta put in 6 to 8 pounds through this guy. By the way, for those of you who have been keeping up with MC4s, you'll notice that the chute here is a little bit different. So this is the new style of chute. Let me show you the Flat Max chute, which is also kind of from the newer batch. MC4 chute on the left, and the Flat Max chute on the right. Actually, the Flat Max chute fits on the MC4 chute, and the Flat Max piece of plastic seems to be removable, whereas this one I can't really remove. So I don't know if that's like an adjustment that was made in the batch that my dad's Flat Max got into versus my MC4. Cool, we have an MC4 now. Will we get a $2,500 WDT tool? Let's find out. Yes, we do. All right. Awesome. So here is the new style of WDT tools you get with the Kafatek grinders. And then what else do we get? Sticker. This is good. And you get a RDT bottle. It's the same one. And you get a Mr. Puff. And of course you get the funnel and the little catch cup. Definitely a more fun buying experience, especially from a company like Kafatek. So I will be talking about why I specifically chose the Kafatek grinders over other grinders. I mean, I've already alluded to it multiple times, but it's because these guys are in the USA, and it's in my interactions with someone like Dennis, is you just email him, he'll actually respond to you. And I think that's something that is very valuable when you're spending a lot of money on a coffee grinder, is to actually be able to talk to the guy that makes it and get the level of customer support that I think is deserved with a very expensive purchase like this. I'm not going to call anybody out, but I've definitely seen customer support lacking from other companies that offer grinders in this price range. Let me plug this guy in and pull a shot behind the camera, but here you go. Here's an MC4, and here's the Flat Max. For those of you who care, I'm moving this vinyl sticker for the pour over range over here, and then I'm gonna replace it with a fancy black one or something, but we're using a blue tape one for now. Anyway, here we go. Let me turn it on to see if it works. Awesome, it works. And then here's the Flat Max if anybody cares. This is a much larger base. There's an RPM control there, no RPM control here, and a very lame non-lit power button. But anyway, let me put in some coffee here and pull a shot, and yeah, that's kind of will wrap up the whole experience of buying a grinder. Definitely hyping up this GMC, but if you did want to look at those flavor notes, it's just, you know, it's a super comforting espresso. You know, it's kind of funny that I like this grinder because it's a high clarity grinder, especially from the conical side, or at least that was my experience with the MC4, and it was very similar in cup to the Lab Suite. However, it is obviously a much smaller footprint, and it's kind of funny, we're using a darker, you know, not super light roast coffee, but I'll have a video about this later, but even putting a coffee like this through a high clarity optimized setup like this Flat Max, well, actually, it's good. It will taste good. You don't have to use large flats for only light roast. You can use it with your darker roast coffee. Anyway, put the beans in, and I'm just going to pull, I don't think I'm going to pull a Slayer profile. I think I'm going to just pull something interesting, like, I'll just pull a Londinium style profile. The grind size should be okay here. And I'm going to just put that here. Really quiet. That's very, very quiet. And you can kind of hear there's a bean that's almost through, but yeah, wow, that's really nice and quiet. And obviously I haven't adjusted the portafilter hooks for the decent, but that's looking good. That is definitely some of the fluffiest grounds you'll get out of a conical setup. Remember, there are 2 conical burrs in the MC4. Look at that. Those grounds looking nice. So let me WDT. As much as I do like the feel of the Kafatek WDT, I personally still prefer the 9-prong setup. We're pulling a dark roast coffee like GMC, and it is already an incredibly forgiving coffee. So for those of you who haven't used GMC before, super forgiving coffee, and you can kind of do anything with it and it'll taste good. But let's go, let's pull a shot now. So I've been dialing this in, and this is just GMC in this, but you know, everything tastes good. It does everything that I said it did originally, which is very similar to Lab Suite, nice coat. But yeah. See my amazing puck prep there. Oh, actually, I don't know if this camera can see that, but so my beautiful puck prep is hidden. Anyway, I'm pulling a Londinium shot. I'm just pulling, you know, more standard lever style profiles. And things are tasting great. you can see myself there, but yeah, it's pretty hard to mess up with some of these grinders. The sweet spot is really big. All right, so that was about a 45-second long shot. Super standard espresso stuff right here. This is GMC, really great coffee. Even if I'm grinding too fine, the MC4 has a very wide sweet spot. But anyway, let me switch over to myself. Awesome stuff here. It's an MC4. What do you expect? But the one thing that I do want to note with something like an MC4 that a lot of other conicals, like this thing, does is that you actually get clarity, and I think that's because of the pre-breaker. There are two burst sets here. But what's really amazing with this is that in espresso, it's so similar to the Lab Suite. I would probably still say the Lab Suite is a little bit better in filter, but in espresso, it's just, you get that really nice coating on your tongue, and it's just really nice and clear. And it's so good. I haven't used an MC4 in quite a while. Now I own one. Yeah, no, it's good. You just get the coating on your tongue with the espresso, and that's a property that is very preferable to a lot of people. For a quick reference, comparing the MC4 to the Max, at least with the LM burrs, gives me really clear espressos in the center, or the kind of middle part of my tongue. And it does linger. Same thing with the MC4 is the lingering. It coats and then it lingers, and you just get a really nice, enjoyable aftertaste experience. And that's kind of what I've been kind of enjoying in a lot of my espressos is like, what does it taste like in the aftertaste? But anyway, I'm definitely pretty caffeinated. I've been drinking a lot of GMC shots, and they've all been tasting good. So yeah, that's kind of the experience with these grinders is you set it up, you buy it, you wait 6 months, and then you finally get it in. You should really do this is once you get the grinder and have a great time. Just use it, dial it in, have a fun time. And with a lot of these high-end grinders, it is kind of hard to make coffee taste bad, I would say. If the coffee tastes bad, I think it's more so user error, is what I'll say. At least some of these Kafatek grinders like the MC4 and any of the Shuriken burrs, like if you get bad tasting coffee, it's probably you. That's all I really wanted to talk about is kind of just the wrap up of the purchase experience. I probably should make some more videos talking about purchase experiences because I think this is something that is really worth thinking about when you are spending a lot of money on coffee grinders. Like, what is the actual experience of getting one of these? But I hope this sheds some light into kind of the higher end boutique side of things, what the process is like. Now, I do want to talk about specifically with Kafatek in the future, but there are other companies that will have pre-orders and then you pay later on, or you pay upfront at once. There's not a lot of people talking about this type of thing, which is like, let's buy one of these things and talk about the experience of buying one of these and what it's really like. But yeah, that's all I want to show you guys today. Thank you for spending time to watch the video. I will see you around. This is going to taste better than your grinder, right? This is how it works.
That's what you think.
Telling you, this is good.
This cheap $2,500 grinder.
My amazing puck prep right there.
That's good.
Yeah. The data's looking good. Beautiful, beautiful extraction.
Crema.
We got a thick crema.
Ooh, look at that. That's pretty nice.
All right.
Okay. Not bad. It's good. I have a nice chocolatey taste.
Yeah, it tastes better than the Max, right? We have to try the Max out later.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to try the comparison to see if it tastes better. But not bad. This is pretty good. Yeah, not bad.
My dad using the MC4, trying it out. But yeah, later on I'll probably do a comparison of a Max versus MC4, but this was just kind of the extra clip for fun stuff. And maybe I'll post that video of him finally unboxing his Max. But yeah, all right, see you guys later.